I lie back on the table, naked, draped in paper, awaiting my exam. I assume the position, heels in the icy stirrups, although the last thing I want right now is this sort of exposure. Time crawls by. Why didn't they let me read magazines in the waiting area where the light's so much more flattering? I hate being out here in this room, prone, alone, so prone to ruminating. My 10-year try at true love had turned loveless the prior year. To erase all that, I'd embarked on a frantic romance which ended when he recognized it as a rebound. This was followed by the realization that my last period had put the period on my menses and probably put the period on men, period. Menopause? No. Stop. My quota of orgasms has probably expired with my eggs. I look down on myself, depressed by the very sight of my useless mammaries, full of memories that never knew milk. Of my sleeping possum, whose past pleasures will have to last it forever. Of what interest are these things now except to doctors for predictions and medications? They're nothing but time bombs of catastrophe. My gynecologist of many years leaps into the room. "Good to see you," he says. It comforts me to see him too, until he prepares to introduce glacial metal gadgetry into me. And then I remember the limits of our relationship. Al? I remind him of my preference for smaller gestures. He withdraws, he pats my thigh, he gets a friendly plastic virgin version. I feel like a plastic virgin, starting all over again, scared to death of everything. Ooch, he's in. "So, it's been a while," he says. Amazing. He can tell just from looking. I guess he knows me down there better than anybody, better than I know myself. "Are there cobwebs?" I ask. "I mean, since you've been in the office for a checkup," he says. "Oh." I focus on the clouds painted across the sky blue ceiling to distract myself from the disturbances in my southern states. "So you've been inactive," he says. "Celibate over a year," I tell the bald head seated between my knees. No, not because I'm saving myself for marriage, not because I'm spiritual, not because I couldn't have sex if I wanted to. "Uh-huh," he says. "I'll just never again be intimate," I say. "There's no such thing as safe sex. It's nothing but dangerous if you have a heart attached to your vagina." He withdraws. He washes up. "I'll never love, leave, or get left again," I say. "It's all too horrible." "Well, it's all in working order, so," he squeezes my arm for emphasis, "use it or lose it." "Use it? To what end?" I ask. "Well, you don't need to get married," he says. "Don't look for everything in one package. Have one for talk, one for fun, and one for sex, and until you find them all, use this." He scrawls out a note on a prescription slip for a dildo. He's written down the type, the material, and an aspirational size that scares the hell out of me. But I wouldn't, where would I even get that, I say. He writes down the address of the new Hustler store on the Sunset Strip. "Are you kidding?" I say. "What if somebody sees me?" But with a 30 kegels a day keeps the aging away, he's on to the next pelvis, busy as a bee, probably pollinating all us flowers with suggestions like this. I look at the paper. I wonder if this is covered by my medical plan. I wonder if he gets kickbacks. Is he joking? I shove it into the debris at the bottom of my purse, but he's got me thinking. Because deep inside this silly little mind of mine, I want to believe that by some fluke I might be able to make love and have love again, that the game ain't over yet. I'm only in the adolescence of old age, after all. So one day when I don't feel like crying or eating or reading or being social, but I am ready for a slightly braver life, I make my pilgrimage to the Hustler's store at the crack of opening. Its official opening isn't until tonight, and I figure who would see me there? I mean, who in their right mind that I know would go to a place like that at 9 a.m., even for medical reasons? Oh, sure, I'm scared, but it's time to take out insurance on the possibility of future pleasure. Buying a dildo will be a life-affirming act of faith. Kind of like a teething ring gets a baby ready for meat. So I park a block away. I'm wearing a trench coat with the collar up and some shades. I walk in the welcoming front door under the fancy marquee where they're still sanding the floors. I stop in my tracks and I crumble up the prescription slip in my clammy fist. This is no apothecary. This is no smarmy sleaze shop for dirty old men. This is a modern, mainstream mall of amazements, an amusement park, and an abusement arcade, a shrine to a wildness with walls of erotica 2 stories high. There are novelty items, edible panties, pornographic greeting cards, pacifiers with penises on them, pencils with breasts for erasers, pickle-shaped peckers, penile water pistols with balls for triggers. Wow. But they've also got serious stuff for any kink you can think of: cuffs, clamps, pulleys, funnels. Any weird fantasy, any picadillo you thought was all yours, baby, they've got an entire wing for it: bed, bondage, and beyond. This Fellini-esque fairground would be completely nauseating if it didn't compel my anthropological curiosity. What do you do with that, I wonder? Where and to whom? What the hell kind of childhood damage would make you want to use this? But I have a mission to fulfill. I ask a woman hanging a light where the massagers might be. She smirks and she points to an entire department of dicks. Every color of the rainbow, any size or sound or substance you can imagine, is on aggressive display. They vibrate, they rotate, they migrate, they can be run by remote. Some even come with instructions in Braille. There's the regular Joe. And then there's the kosher cock with descriptions in Hebrew. All friendly members standing at erect attention, promising zipless, fleshless, fooling around with no downside. A freckle-faced girl unpacking merchandise says, "Hi, can I help you?" "Just looking," I say. No crime in looking. I'm getting engrossed and I'm getting a bit titillated too, but more lights are going on in here and they're wheeling equipment up behind me, so I settle on a basic skin-simulating brown model that looks user-friendly, and you can even warm it in the microwave. On low, it warns. It lives in a nice long box, and its name is Tyrone. So I pay, I get it brown bagged, and I turn around into a blinding bank of spotlights. "We're rolling," someone says. It's Entertainment Tonight. And Larry Flint is being interviewed in his wheelchair, not 3 feet in front of me. That's me in the background, running out of range as fast as I can casually run. I'm also seen bolting out the door in the B-roll of the episode shown at 7 CBS primetime the next night, clutching an oblong bag in my hands. In the trench coat and the sunglasses, I could hardly recognize myself, and I don't think anybody else did either. And besides, what would a nice girl like me be doing in a place like that? So at home, I start to count my blessings. Now that I no longer need sanitary pads or other period paraphernalia, there's so much more empty space under the sink. It's just waiting to be filled. I make a nice little home for my toy boy. Tyrone comes with lubricant, a cleaner, and a small bowl, and recommendations for his maintenance. This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. So it's Thanksgiving week. Me and Tyrone are lying around thinking up stuffing recipes. And a friend leaves a message on my phone machine. I am featured in the centerfold of Star magazine. And as a lapsed celebrity without any recent personal appearances lately, I eagerly incognito myself over to the supermarket with eggs as an excuse. And I sidle up to the 10 items or less line. I buy my very first issue of Star and rush to my car, pouring through to find myself opposite a radiant Carol Burnett who is on the best dressed page wearing Chanel at some charity event. And across the fold, on the worst dressed side, is me in my trench coat and sunglasses, identified at the opening of the Hustler store. So I figured few that I knew would see this. The Star is not on any list to which my peers or my parents subscribe. But it's the holidays, you see, and everyone I've ever known, stuck in long lines at the supermarkets, took advantage of this opportunity to look non-committally through the tabloids. Aunts, cousins, producer friends, apparently all shameless closet readers of the Star, mailed me clippings with congratulations, easing my embarrassment with their nonchalance. And that current began to turn the big ship of my life slowly around onto a more courageous course. Thanks.